Hello everyone, this is Wolfie Rankin coming to you from my sitting room here, which is really nice and comfortable. Woke up pretty early this morning to find that there was a storm over Melbourne and went over really quickly, and we had a bit of rain and it was nice. And I thought it was over, and I was just about to let the dog out the front. Next thing, there was this great massive flash and this great big kaboom, and we all kind of went, oh fuck. And all the lights went out and the alarms went off, and chaos. But it's okay now. It's quietened off. Mother Nature's gone back to, knitting or whatever she does. Yesterday, I heard somebody at the front. Hello, is anyone there? They wouldn't come in because there was a big dog out the front. Jet. She's not that big and she doesn't care about posties. She loves posties. Anyway, it went out the front and he gave me this massive package that was about the size of a fridge, and I opened it up and it had beans in it like crazy. There were so many beans, it was kind of like bean apocalypse at my place. It was just a mountain of these massive green beans. What do you call them? There is a name for them, actually. There's a different name. Peanuts or something like that. They were just everywhere. And inside was another package. It was kind of like a triangular package, which contained a thing that I've been waiting for a little while. And I kind of want to show it to you because I've got it, and that's the purpose of this video. I think it makes sense. So here it is, ladies and gents. Here it is. This is my Hagstrom Viking P Wild Cherry Transparent guitar. It's a beauty. I didn't know many things about guitars until fairly recently. I've been doing a lot of reading about them and watching a lot of videos and stuff, and I will explain to you some things. Basically, there's two kinds of guitars out there, Fender and a Gibson, and they're both great guitars. But the trouble is with them, they're kind of like Reebok and Nike, where it's kind of like, we're the champions of the whole world and we can charge what we bloody well like. And like a Gibson guitar that looks like this. In fact, if you've seen Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox played one that was very, very similar to this. I think he's had one of those little sticky things outside. Mine doesn't. You'll see that it doesn't have one of them. A whammy stick, they call them. Or a tremolo bar, perhaps. And people might say, well, they are a really good, well-designed guitar. And they are. I've got no argument really there. But the problem is with it, basically, if an instrument is making the sound that you want, and it might be a cheap guitar, it might even be like an ice cream container with rubber bands over it. If that's the sound you want, then, and if that's perfect for the record that you're making, then that's what you use. You don't go off using the most expensive thing just because it's the most expensive thing that you can get. Now, this is a really nice guitar. It's got a headstock which is kind of like an acoustic guitar. Acoustic guitars generally have the little knobby bits on both sides, as this one does. But an electric usually has them all along the top. Generally, at least the Gibsons do, that I've seen. And this has got twin pickups. Can you see these? These are called pickups. And they are a bit, for those of you who don't know, they're a little bit like tape heads. Basically a tape glides across the top of a tape head, and it transfers its electromagnetic information to the insides, and it sort of spews it out as music. Well, this does exactly the same thing. That when you twang a string and does that, what happens is it interferes with your magnetism, and it just kind of goes, oh, that's interesting, and turns it into electricity, and then it pumps it out as sound. So that's how it works. And electric guitars don't normally have a hole in them because, you know, it's kind of redundant. But this is being an electroacoustic, it can kind of do both things. Not quite as well maybe as an acoustic guitar, but it does a pretty good job. And it's got F holes, not A holes. F holes, because it kind of looks like an old scrolly sort of F here. And these do the same kind of thing as a hole in the center would. So yeah. Now I'm basically what you can do with these pickups too is you've got a switch, right? And you can have maybe just the top one on, or just the bottom one on, or you can have both of them on. So it's a little bit like the taco girl who says, why not both? This is a Hagstrom guitar. They were favoured by the likes of Elvis Presley. David Bowie's had a few. That other guy who I can never remember, Frank Zappa, he's had some. There's a picture of him in an advert with one of these. Not exactly this model, but a Hagstrom. And Bjorn from ABBA had one. And, you know, the company kind of went under, and it was because there was a glut of cheap guitars on the market at the time, and people were saying, well, you know, if these cheap guitars are out, I don't see why I have to buy a really expensive one. So Hagstrom kind of suffered a bit. But the company's been sort of revived, except they've shipped their manufacturing to China, which sucks a bit. But, you know, that's how things are these days. Everything's kind of made in China these days. Yeah, I don't like it either, but, you know, there you go. So, these pickups too, they're called humbuckers. And the reason they're called humbuckers is because they buck the hum. Basically, these are dual coil, whereas a normal pickup is a single coil. And there tends to be a bit of hum in there. And the hum isn't so bad if you're like into death metal or something like that and you want to produce a hell of a lot of noise. That's cool. But if you're producing fairly soft music, there's a bit of hum in the background and it just kind of pisses you off, pisses off the listeners and all that. You don't want that. But, you know, if it's making the sound you want, there's nothing wrong with it. And you can get gates and things like that, which kind of are effects units which shut off the guitar when it's quiet, so you don't get that hum coming through the desk. There's different tricks that you can use for things like that. But if it makes the sound that you want, there's, I mean, that's good. Now, I am a raw beginner. I've been playing with it at the moment. I haven't got a cable, so I can't plug it in, and I haven't got an amp. But I worked out that you can get a USB cable, so you can plug it into your computer. I've got a friend who had no idea about that. He's like, "Oh, that's new information. I didn't know about that, and never considered that." So yeah, I've got to have the cable so I can plug it in and learn Rocksmith, which is kind of like Guitar Hero, but with actual real guitars. So the theory is, once you're into the game, and you think of this as your sort of like control pad in a way, fancy control pad, that you learn the game, and then at the end of it, instead of saying, oh, I'm really good at Guitar Hero, you can say, well, I'm really good at guitar, which I think makes all the difference. Now, I'm partly making this video so I can go back and I can see, once I'm an expert, you know, once I'm as good as Nile Rodgers, yeah, right, Wolfie, or Eric Clapton, I can go back and look at this video and say, you didn't know anything, did you? You idiot. And one of the things, see, the thing is with me, what's happened, I've wanted to play instruments for years, but I just haven't made the jump. You know, I've had cameras around since I've been a kid, and I'm used to taking photos, and I like taking photos. Computers were a different matter. I didn't know what a sound card was at one point years ago. I know what a sound card is now. I know how to put a computer together. Generally, I'm the go-to person if anyone's computer breaks down and they need a hand. I can usually help them out of a pickle without them resorting to expensive IT support. So there's a part of me that's going, Wolfie, you'll never play an instrument. Don't give me that. And then there's a logical Mr. Spock sort of voice going, there's a way to play instruments, and lots of people play instruments, and it's purely logical, Captain. You can do this. So, okay, so my difficulty at the moment, you might laugh at this, but see, what you've got to do is you've got to put two fingers here, one here and one here, not too close to this this metal bit. These are called frets. Okay. And it makes, when you run your finger over it, it makes that lovely sound that reminds me of Love Cats. Is it Love Cats that starts off like that? It's sort of squeaky, or is it the other Cure song? I can't remember. I think it's Love Cats starts off kind of like that. But the problem is with it, you've got to put your finger not just on the string, but on a certain place within the fret. So it's got to be close to that metal bar. So you've got to put your finger there, and you've got to put the other one, well, one there and one kind of there, close to the bar, which means basically what they're asking you to do is put your fingers on a position which is about 5 millimeters square. Okay. And then you don't touch any of the other strings, otherwise they won't ring out and you won't hear them. See, like this one, it's dead quiet, and it shouldn't be like that. It should make a sound like that. And that's the part that I'm going to have a lot of problems with. And I thought, I'm not going to have problems like that because I've got really thin fingers. It's not going to be any trouble for me to do this, but yeah. And I'm looking at it now and I'm sort of going, I didn't think that was going to be my difficulty, and I think it is going to be quite difficult to do that. And I might have something in the wrong position. I've got the guitar up a little bit high because you can see it. You're supposed to have it down here, so it's not that far away. But yeah, and I know what happens after a while. It's kind of like when you don't know how to type, but one day you catch yourself just looking at the screen and typing anyway. So I'm sort of hoping that that's going to sort of go into my head, that, I can kind of feel the guitars there, and I'm sort of amazed that you can't sort of feel the frets with you can kind of with your thumb, but you don't sort of want to hold your thumb that way. So, yeah, I don't know. And I'm sort of wondering now, is that going to be the thing that stops me from going any further? Am I going to fail at that? And at the moment, that seems to be the thing that I can't really see myself overcoming, because I've been playing with this thing all day. Yeah, I know, one day. But I can't quite crack that. I don't know how I'm going to do that and move around freely. I'm quite bothered by that. So I don't know. But anyway, I've got it, and this is my first video with it, and I think I'm going to progress. I think I'm going to crack a few nuts and find out a few things. But even if not, one of the reasons I bought this is so that I can get an understanding of guitar playing, a sense of what it is actually like, because I was writing a story about a band, and particularly about a guitar player, and I want to know what it feels like. I want to know how it feels to the person to play, and I was only sort of guessing before. Now I can see the difficulties, and I can see the difficulties a beginner's going to fret over. Pardon the pun. But yeah, I know that It shouldn't be held that way. And I should have a guitar strap. I have ordered one, but it's coming. So there's Rocksmith, there's guitar picks, there's the cable, and that, which I got from I think it was a site in Asia somewhere, and it was kind of like eBay, and the guy was actually making them himself, hand making them, and I thought it was really nice. It's got a wolf on it, so I looked at it and I thought, yeah, that looks really cool, and that would go really well with this. So I'm getting that for that reason. But I think maybe once I get the strap, there won't be that feeling of weight that I've got at the moment, and maybe I'm holding it wrong. And maybe a few people can advise me. I know I've got a lot of friends piping up saying, hey, I can play guitar. If you need any assistance, just give me a buzz. So I think that'll be good. Anyway, that's about it, really. Yeah, so this is the first step. I've got the guitar, and it's a really nice one, and I'm really happy with the way it looks. Turn it around to show you the back end of it. So that's it there. It's a wild cherry, transparent. Well, I don't know why they call it transparent. I don't see anything transparent about it. Yeah, so there you go. So that's my video for today. Be sure and get back to me about anything if you got any questions or you want to tell me something. I'd really like to know anything that you've got to offer. That'd be really nice. And I'm going to sit here and continue playing this and try to work out a little bit of finger yoga and get this sorted out so that I can... Wolfie, what have you done? I mean, you used to be a record collector, and you were happy collecting records, and suddenly it wasn't enough, and you needed a harder drug. What have you done, Wolfie? What have you done? I don't know. Maybe I've changed direction in life, or maybe because I've got to the age of 50 this is kind of like my Harley. It's kind of like I'm having one of those points in one's life. I don't know. I'm not really having a thing like that. I had cancer when I was just before I was 40, and now I see life as just a bonus. So I can do pretty much what I like. Now I nearly died. I didn't die. I'm still here. So I can do pretty much anything I want to. So get a guitar, yeah? Why not? People do worse things. So that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.